International Trade Focus is brought to you by GOIL and Agricultural Development Bank.
Coming up on International Trade Focus,
we shall take a look at the importance of adding value to gold mined in Ghana before we export. And later, we shall take a look at Ghana's foreign direct investment growth and how to sustain the positive growing trend. An estimated 90% of gold mined in Ghana is exported without value addition, considering the fact that gold contributes over 90% of Ghana's total mineral exports. To say a lot of effort must be put into adding value to gold mined in Ghana is an understatement. On today's edition of International Trade Focus, we want to find out the importance of adding value to gold in Ghana before we export. My name is Anasteo and this is International Trade Focus. International Trade Focus is brought to you by GOIL Good Energy, ADB, Truly, Agric and more, Public Elegance and Peduase Valley Resort. Stay tuned.
Here's innovation from GOIL that takes you further. New GOIL Super Synthetic 5W20 and 5W30 lubes have been expertly crafted with the latest in liquid engineering technology, highly advanced for modern engines, prolongs oil change intervals, save you fuel, clean, protect and enhance engine performance. The way engines work has become complex, and GOIL has innovated to stay ahead with expertly crafted lubricants that work excellently with all petrol and diesel engines of today. New GOIL Super Synthetic 5W20 and 5W30 lubes. Innovation that takes you further. GOIL. Good energy.
Are you an importer or exporter? Do you need quick financing at the best rate on the market? ADB has good news for you. Walk into any agricultural development bank location nationwide for that solution to all your trade financing needs. ADB offers you pre-financing of exports and imports, post-shipment credit facilities, bank guarantees, the issuance and acceptance of letters of credit, documentary bills for collection, outward documentary collection. Enjoy free advisory services from our well-trained, dedicated trade officers. Exporters of agricultural products are encouraged to take advantage of this great service. For further enquiries, call us on 0302 210 210. ADB, making trade finance easy. ADB, Truly Agric and more.
Breathtaking picturesque views, the essence of tranquility recrafted. What's your desire? A romantic expedition, syndicate sessions, banquet and conferences, or a discreet weekend getaway? Just name it. It is exclusively packaged for you at Peduase Valley Resort. Every spacious rooms, ultra-modern gym facilities, games, indoors, terrace and lawn restaurants and lounges, cozy private dining, and all the swimmer's paradise. Aquaba, any day, all year round to Peduase Valley Resort. The acts of serenity, skillfully served.
You're watching International Trade Focus. Our focal point segment comes up next. Formerly known as Gold Coast,
Ghana started gold trading from ancient history in the Trans-Saharan gold trade era in the 15th century. For centuries, Ghana has mined and exported gold. Gold contributes over 90% of Ghana's total mineral exports and makes up 49% of the country's total export value. In 2019, according to Statistica.com, Ghana exported $10.8 billion worth of gold. Even with these impressive figures, industry players say although the country is generating a lot of revenue from the export of raw gold, its contribution to the country's economy could be improved. Industry players believe adding value to gold mined in Ghana can increase revenue generated from gold export by over 60%. Currently, an estimated 90% of gold mined in the country is exported without value addition. Adding value to gold mined in Ghana will not only increase revenue, it will also revive the crippling indigenous jewelry industry. The indigenous jewelry industry has a critical role to play in adding value to gold mined in Ghana. But what is the current state of Ghana's jewelry industry? International Trade Focus spoke to the president of the Jewelers Association Ghana, Jonathan Ababiu. He took us back into history, reminiscing about the timeless craft of goldsmithing.
Yeah, so goldsmithing, as we know it, as I said, has been around for a really long time, but it was mostly within families. The great-grandfathers passed them down to their grandfathers, and the fathers passed them on to their children. So it was mostly within families. At that time, there was also a bit of a superstitious, concept to it. Gold was seen as the material of the gods. So it was a special. It was thought that you should have a special dispensation before you're able to work with gold. Not until recently that it became, more established, and Ghana became a colony of the British. Over a period, things changed, and we know that even with the British coming down, they plundered a lot of the gold we had. I mean, so if it wasn't for colonization, we still would have a lot of the works that we have. I mean, history has it that the golden stool was actually taken away. So there's some documented evidence of some of the things that were made at that point in time that show the level of craftsmanship of jewelers then, or goldsmiths at the time as they were called, to give us a true picture of what existed then.
Comparing the craftsmanship then to now, Jonathan Ababiu explained that although modern-day jewelers have more sophisticated equipment to work with, the mastery of handcrafted pieces by the olden-day goldsmiths cannot be downplayed.
With regards to present-day jewelry, we have a lot more equipment that helps us to do a wider variety of stuff. But I must say that the level of craftsmanship then was also exquisite. If you look at the chieftaincy regalia that they wear, what our grandfathers used to wear, you see the level of intricacy and the sort of ways they used to apply the gold. You could tell that they really had mastered the art of making it. And they used to look to nature to reproduce forms and even to the universe. So you see that people come up with pieces that look like the sun or stars, and there were different levels of craftsmanship that people had. And so those who were really at the peak of their craftsmanship, you could see they could reproduce a leaf, and it actually looked so much like a leaf. It was unbelievable. And I think that was what also attracted the West to the art forms that we had. Presently, because we are more in a global and digitized environment, we're reproducing more of international stuff that we see, but there's still, local forms and ways that we're trying to preserve, because those are identified with our local industry. And the forms like, say, granulation, that has been passed down, and some of the present jewelers have learned how to do it and are doing it really well. And that shows you that these things that were done at the time, the people applied themselves diligently and came out with specific, exciting pieces. Presently, we have things like casting equipment, more refined casting equipment. In the olden days, they used to use, say, lost wax casting, foam casting, cuttlefish bone casting to bring out forms, then sort of smoothing them. Now we have more precise equipment that, like we have things like 3D printers where you can just design on a computer and then print it off in 3D. You have the wax model, cast it out, and then you have a piece that is exquisite as well. But when it comes down to the handcrafted mastery of pieces, I think that we should give it to them. The old jewelers or the olden day craftsman had a really good grasp of the metal.
Currently, there are about 800 jewelers operating in Ghana. The president of the Jewelers Association says a myriad of problems chased a lot of jewelers away from the industry in the past. He is, however, optimistic that with the current turn of events, a lot of them will be coming back.
In approximation, about 800, if I would say. There may be a lot more. But in our books, those we have registered, we have about 270 who are registered with us. So we're gradually trying to bring a lot more on board. The problem we've had is a lot of the older ones, some people have actually stopped working because of the difficulties they were facing. And there are also some younger ones who ended up in other industries because it was difficult, trying to start off. Getting the gold was a problem, equipment was more expensive, so there were a myriad of problems which are being addressed now. And I must say, a lot of people are coming back and new people are being trained to join as well.
We've already established that it's important to add value to gold mined in Ghana before we export. But why?
As you've heard time and again, Ghana has been exporting gold in its raw state from time immemorial. When mining took on a commercial level, most of the mines were producing and shipping out in Dori. Now, a country that ships out its material in raw state, let's say we've been shipping out timber for years. We've been making some money, but are we really making what is due the country? Furthermore, it adds a different level of employment when we reserve some of the material to use. If we are able to add more value, we would be employing a lot more people, training more people. Recently we saw the queues when the fire service and some of the security agencies were employing. Look at the number of young people that turned out there. Can you imagine if just about 15% of those people were trained to work within the industry? Imagine the number of jobs. And a lot of them would end up being entrepreneurs and probably employing others. So let's say if we're able to train 100 people, imagine them setting up businesses and taking on, say, 2 to 3 people each. Effectively, you have about 300 people straight away being employed. And that is not the burden of government. These are private people who are employing. And with a lot more support, they would grow. And that would help ease our unemployment issue considerably.
Jonathan Abebio reiterated the importance of a collaborative effort from all agencies, public and private sector alike, to help Ghana derive maximum returns from gold production. Although all is not rosy, President of the Jewelers Association Ghana is hopeful. He believes with the current steps being taken by policymakers and the private sector, the future of Ghana's jewelry industry is bright.
Yeah, first and foremost, a lot more training should be made available. And I'm very happy to say, I actually happen to be part of a committee working with CTVET to restructure the curriculum that is in place. We started with the polytechnics, and now we're moving on to the secondary schools, the SS, and to even JSS, where people will be introduced to rudimentary stages of jewelry making. A lot of people don't know that you can train as a goldsmith or a jeweler in this country. They think you just have to go through an apprenticeship system. yes, a lot of people who are in the industry have been through apprenticeships, but you can also go through the school system and gradually get on board. One school I know that has been doing very well is Labone School, and they, consistently have been training students, and some of them have just finished Labone and haven't gone any further, and some of them have actually set up and are doing really well. So with the polytechnics being, helped or assisted to grow the technical bit and build up the curriculum, I think it's going to change the terrain considerably. And also introducing students from the secondary bit. It's not going to be very detailed, but it gives them a fair idea of what is available to them. There's some people who are naturally gifted artistically and can work, once they're taught how to work the material, they would pick it up from there and come up with interesting stuff. And it also is providing extra hands for the jewelry industry, because they effectively would have had a bit of a feel of it. And so when they come out, they would come out with a certificate. The way the program is being designed, they would have a certificate to say that they are proficient in jewelry making. So when they go for apprenticeships with jewelers who are already established, they already have some knowledge which they can apply. And it will also make it easier for the people who are training them to build on what they have. And from then on, they can either go to university and continue, or continue through polytechnics. But for those who cannot continue, at least they have something they can do, from that point. And some people would actually work, raise money, and continue to pay their school fees, because you come across people who consistently say, oh, I stopped because there was no one to give me support. So does that mean that if there's no support, you just can't continue? There has to be a way out. And I think that's one thing the government is really addressing with this technical proficiency that is being put together, and would really help, the economy. 3 years ago, we worked on a policy document, as Judy mentioned, for government in terms of assisting the industry more. They wanted to know what best can be done. So MINCOM, Minerals Commission, leading the way, they put together a team of us, and we sort of made the recommendations that at cabinet level. Some of the recommendations were in terms of assisting to or cutting down the taxes for equipment used in jewelry production, because already the industry is struggling. People cannot afford the equipment because the prices are so high, and also assisting with policy that would provide gold in the environment, as we recommended that if 30% is retained, there'll be a lot more raw material in the country for jewelers. Because what was happening is that jewelers were always competing against international buyers. If you're not offering the sort of prices, since you're dealing with forecast buyers, if you're not offering the sort of prices they are, you're priced out. Because they have dollar indexed, financing. And so they can easily offer slightly higher prices to the mining companies or the small scale miners. And then they in turn, would sell it to them rather than sell it to the jewelers. So if there's gold retained on the market, it provides a lot more raw material. It's easy to get and to buy. And also, now the country is moving more towards sustainable gold mining. Sometimes there's a bit of a hype, with Ghana gold being shipped out most of the time. It ends up in Dubai, and Dubai will publicize it as Ghana gold refined in Dubai, trying to say that it being refined in Dubai is much better than you getting anything from Ghana. And that perception has to change. And unfortunately, people have bought into it, and Ghanaians have bought into it, so they'd rather buy jewelry in Dubai than rather than buy it locally. Also on board is a standards board. They have also come on board to ensure that our standards are international. Whereas, if we say X, it's say we've made a piece, it's 10 grams. You can be rest assured that it is 10 grams when it's weighed anywhere. And also the purity of the material is also taken into consideration. So Standard Board is also on board, and they're rolling out a program where it would help ensure that jewelry produced, meets the standard, international standards.
A strong public-private partnership is crucial in developing a robust jewelry industry that has the capacity to compete globally. The time to act is now, especially at a period where the African Continental Free Trade Area, AfCFTA, is in full force. A re-energized indigenous jewelry industry has the potential to generate substantial revenue to boost Ghana's economy.
For the jewelers out there, we shouldn't give up. They can see that a lot is changing. Over the past 3 years, we can tell that a lot has been done for the jewelry industry, and even more is being done, especially with the gold statement, for instance. It's showcasing a lot of what the jewelers do, and a lot more provision is being made for training and equipment provision. So gradually, the standard of work is being raised, and we look forward to better times being done. We'd also appreciate all the especially Minerals Commission, who has been supporting us all through. They've been a real big support. And also Rapport Services has been pushing really hard. I mean, year in, year out, she's been pushing consistently. And we can see that we're gradually making a headway. And for the young ones who are also interested in jewelry, now that it's being rolled out in schools, there's going to be exciting times ahead. So we look forward to good times.
Mrs. Judy Narkor-Craham is a board member, Minerals Commission, and the CEO of Rapport Services, initiators of the Gold Statement. We took a look at the importance of adding value to gold mined in Ghana before we export. Our in-depth segment comes up next. You're watching International Trade Focus, and this is our in-depth segment. Now, we're taking a look at the importance of adding value to gold mined in Ghana before we export. Our guest for today is a board member of the Minerals Commission and the CEO of Rapport Services, initiators of the Gold Statement Project. Mrs. Judy Narkor-Craham is our guest for today. Thank you very much for being a part of our program today. Now, in 2018, Ghana exported over $10 billion worth of gold. So from these figures, we could say that the country is doing well in terms of income generation as far as gold is concerned. So why is there the need to add value to gold mined in Ghana before we export?
Well, the reason why we need to add value is that when we add value to the gold we export, the raw gold we export, or the doré that we export, we will gain almost 60% increase in revenue if we add value to it. Firstly, through refining, and then through jewelry making. And you know, jewelry making, people spend about $60 billion on jewelry and artifacts of gold, diamond, and other precious stones worldwide. And there are people who stock it as part of their reserves, as part of their wealth. They stock huge amounts of jewelry. And most of this jewelry is produced from gold from Africa, especially Ghana, being the topmost producer in Africa at the moment and the 6th largest worldwide. And we in Ghana have a history of jewelry making. It's been with us for centuries. And we have goldsmiths and jewelers whose craft is so exclusive that we need to promote it. We need to show this to the world. We need to invite people to come and patronize what we do here, what our jewelers and our goldsmiths do. When people talk about jewelry, everybody is tripping to Dubai. They don't have anything extraordinary there. In fact, what they have is so lightweight. I don't want to use the word cheap because it could be insulting, but it's so lightweight that if you press it with your hand, it would dent. Whereas in Ghana, it doesn't happen that way. So we think that as much as possible, policy makers should support this drive to ensure that Ghana becomes a hub. Politicians have talked about it. The president has talked about it, about making Ghana a jewelry destination. The vice president has talked about it, or adding value to our gold and making Ghana a jewelry destination. The vice president has talked about it, making Ghana a hub in West Africa and beyond, and so on. All these things have been said. But once they are said, somebody in the industry, or somebody related to the industry, or somebody interested in the industry should move it along. And that is what we are doing. Whatever has been said, we are moving it along. And we are doing that through gold statement. That brings a focus on the jewelers and goldsmiths of Ghana and what their craft is about and how good they are at what they do.
Right, so we'll delve deeper into what the Gold Statement project is all about. But before we do that, what are some measures and policies that government needs to put in place to ensure that the jewelry industry in Ghana lives up to its expectation?
Well, for some time, there hadn't been anything, but I remember very well because, being a member of the board of Minerals Commission, we were taxed by the minister. It started with Mr. Honorable Amewu, when he was there. And when Honorable Chairman, Asoma Chairman came, he actually asked us to form a committee to come up with a policy document, with a document that could be used for policy making concerning the jewelry industry. So there were so many members from different stakeholders, so many people from different stakeholders who were brought in from the Ministry of Lands and Natural Resources, from the Minerals Commission, from the PMMC, from Jewelers Association of Ghana, Gold Statement. Our executive coordinator was also co-opted. We had people from GCR. Now GCR is a company that was set up to Gold Coast Refinery to refine gold in Ghana, and we thought we could partner with them so that they would, give us part of their gold, of course for sale, but we know that it's properly, mined gold, sustainably mined, and we have a collaboration with them for them to supply us. Unfortunately, the company didn't meet up to, didn't come up to expectation. In fact, at the moment, I don't know what is going on there, but we've not been able to progress with them. The Minerals Commission has had a few discussions with them, but I think at the moment they are still at a standstill. So we are looking for other collaborators. For the time being, the document was, is ready. It's been forwarded to the minister. We hear that the minister is, is working to take it to cabinet. We don't know what the outcome will be, but we pray that since we spent about 5 months working on this document, the document will be taken seriously. I made it a point to send a copy to Honorable Safo for myself, through one of our board members, our former board members, who works with him directly, so that he has it. We've sent a copy, I believe, also to Ministry of Trade. We sent a copy of the document also to Ministry of Trade, to the PA of the minister himself, so that they can study these things, this document, and see how they can meet us, halfway, how we can work together, how we can collaborate. Because with jewelry, if we don't have a proper policy, I don't think that our jewelers will be able to move any further from where they are at the moment. We need assistance. We don't want anything for free. We don't want any freebie. We just want government to recognize that they have to give the industry a hand up. We don't want handouts. the government has to give the industry.
Okay, so briefly, what are some of the recommendations in the policy document?
The 30% retention is a government policy that they're discussing with both big scale and small scale industry, mining industry. It's a government policy. They want to retain 30%. And I believe that the miners who are producing the gold don't have a problem with it. If you have your money and you can pay them, you know, they don't want to listen to credit. If you can pay them for the 30%, they are selling, they'll give it to you. So I think I'm so proud that the Bank of Ghana is now buying gold and has been buying gold for the past 3-4 months. And, you know, consistently they are buying to show up our reserves, which is new. You know, it hasn't been done before, and I'm so proud that it's being done now. Whatever was done some time ago does not compare to what is being done now, and that I'm proud of. The document, you asked about the document.
Some recommendations in there.
Off the top of my head, I believe that we're talking about how to ensure that the gold we produce meets the LBMA requirements, you know, so we need to work on that. We're also talking about how to ensure that we work closely with refiners and make sure that they have a partnership with the goldsmiths for gold to be given to them for their work on credit basis or on soft loan basis, whatever. But, you know, when you're starting something that you want to promote and to ensure that your own nation is seen as a certain light, you should go a step further. Whatever can be done to ensure that we don't just export the raw gold, continue the way we've done for years, and that we are adding value to it, and being proud that Ghana is actually the Gold Coast, where people would come and find gold where they should find it, in a gold market, a gold village, have interaction with jewelers, goldsmiths, make their orders. I mean, this should have happened in Ghana many years ago. Sometimes I get embarrassed. People come to Ghana because they think, oh, we'll come to Ghana, we can get a lot of gold to buy. They see nothing. They see nothing. Our goldsmiths are scattered all over the country. You don't have a place where you can find them. Yet you go to Dubai, who don't produce an ounce of gold, and you go to a souk, and you can find everything. And even it's not up to our standards of gold production, of gold jewelry production. It's not up to our standards. I have absolute confidence in this, you know, jewelers and goldsmiths of Ghana and what they can do. Working with beads, working with stones, working with gold, working with silver, brass, bronze, anything. They can do good work. And that is why Goldsmith Statement, over the years, we're trying to promote what the jewelers of Ghana can do. And we've asked everybody to collaborate with us. We've written to the ministries, we've talked to them. You know, some ministers are more accepting than others, but we know that eventually, when they see the light, they will come on board, because this is something that we have to do for the country. We have to do it. You know, otherwise, I think we'll have a lot of explaining to do to God. Yes, because you have the gold, you're sitting down, people are taking it out for cheap, when you can add value and make more money, and you don't want to do it. What is the essence? I don't understand. I don't understand.
Right, so let's take a look at the current jewelry industry that we have. What are some of the challenges that the industry is facing at the moment?
Well, the industry is facing access to sustainably mined gold. You know, we have a problem of mercury in the gold we produce. And now all over the world, everything is about mercury-free, sustainable mining, responsible mining. You don't have to have children involved in the activity of mining, etc. So, and I must say that this present government is really working towards that. The last board of the Minerals Commission brought in some mercury-free processing machines, equipment for gold mining and gold processing. And we have distributed it to a few places. The Minerals Commission itself has ordered 100 more, and hopefully 20 would be here in a few weeks to be sent to the necessary places. And as and when the equipment comes, then we are reducing the rate of mercury in our gold. That is one of the problems we face, because the excuse that is made is that, oh, the gold that jewelers use for making jewelry in Ghana has mercury in it, you know, and it is not true, because through the process, even all the mercury is burnt off. But as long as you're processing and using mercury, you can be charged with that. That excuse can be used, and there's not much you can do about it. So as we go ahead and do what the government is doing, what the president has insisted should be done, to mine gold sustainably, to process it without mercury, to train the small-scale miners. So for the past 2 years, UMAT in Takwa, that's University of Mines and Technology, have been training small-scale miners. And we are going to train even more. And during the training, they themselves realized that they have been, you know, killing themselves slowly, because they saw the effect of mercury. Not that they didn't know. They knew, because some of them are like this, they shake because of the effects of mercury. They have heart problems, they have lung problems, they die before, you know, their time because of the use of mercury. So they themselves realized that it was good that they went through this training, and the training is going to continue, and they will benefit from that. So there's a lot of collaboration, but there could be more collaboration, much more collaboration. Since 2019, the Minerals Commission has been very supportive of the jewelry industry. They've helped with sponsorship for training. They've helped with sponsorship for even gold statement. They've attended all our events and spoken highly of what we are doing. So at least you can realize that there is some light at the end of the tunnel. So we are happy about that.
So apart from meeting standards as far as mercury and all of that is concerned, what are some other challenges that the sector is faced with? But before we delve more into the challenges, how many jewelers, or how many jewelers do we have in the country presently?
I'm sure the president of the association, who's here as well, would answer that. But I know we have over 1,000. But he would give you specifics. Yeah. Now, some of the challenges, and he would explain better. But what I can say now is that a lot of the stones that are used in making rings and so on are imported into this country, and it should never happen, and we should not allow it to happen. It is wrong, because we have all the necessary stones in Ghana. So what we have done now, this year, we are collaborating with the Geological Survey Authority of Ghana. There are geologists there who have, through their own work, found the various stones in Ghana. We are going to glamorize and promote it, and we are going to work so closely with them that they will help us to do the polishing, to the lapidary work, so that we can use it in our jewelry. This year they'll be at the conference. Yes, they'll be at the conference to, you know, to talk about our collaboration. You know, the diamond we have in Ghana is supposed to be industrial diamond, but when the Indians come and buy it, they polish it so well that they use it for, you know, as a precious stone, and use it for jewelry. We can do the same. We don't have to import cubic zirconia, which is lab-made diamonds. That's what we are using in Ghana. It is wrong. A lot of the stones that we use are made in laboratories abroad. And now, you know, I was listening to a program on BBC, I believe, a few months ago, and they were talking about cubic zirconia being better than real diamonds. I said, how? For how long are they going to brainwash us? For us to think that our own diamonds are even inferior to lab-made? You know, we have to rise above all this. We have to insists on what we have in the country, which is so good and which should be recognized by the world. We should not allow them to foist their thoughts on us, for us to even get to a stage where we think real diamonds are inferior to lab manufacturers. I don't understand. What is wrong with us to accept these things? What is wrong with us? That we have the best, and because we have such an inferiority complex, somebody can come and tell us that their lab-made is better than the natural. There's something wrong. It shouldn't be so.
If you just tuned in, you're watching International Trade Focus. The conversation continues after this break.
Breathtaking picturesque views, the essence of tranquility recrafted. What's your desire? A romantic expedition, syndicate searchings, banquet and conferences, or a discreet weekend getaway? Just name it. It is exclusively packaged for you at Peduasi Valley Resort. Every spacious rooms, ultra-modern gym facilities, games, indoors, terrace and lawn restaurants and lounges, cozy private dining, and all the swimmer's paradise. Aquaba, any day, all year round to Peduasi Valley Resort. The acts of serenity, skillfully served.
Here's innovation from GOIL that takes you further. New GOIL Super Synthetic 5W20 and 5W30 lubes have been expertly crafted with the latest in liquid engineering technology, highly advanced for modern engines, prolongs oil change intervals, save you fuel, clean, protect and enhance engine performance. The way engines work has become complex, and GOIL has innovated to stay ahead with expertly crafted lubricants that work excellently with all petrol and diesel engines of today. New GOIL Super Synthetic 5W20 and 5W30 lubes. Innovation that takes you further. GOIL. Good energy.
A warm welcome back. The conversation continues on our in-depth segment with Mrs. Judy Narkor Graham. She is the CEO, Rapport Services, and a board member of the Minerals Commission. We're taking a look at the importance of adding value to gold mined in Ghana before we export. Right, so from everything that you've said, adding value to gold mined in Ghana has a lot of prospects, from the value chain, the jewelers in the country, from the stones that you're talking about. So the value chain is quite long. So not only will it generate more income for the country, but these individuals who are goldsmiths and all of that will also benefit greatly at the end of the day. Now, we know that the Continental Free Trade, trading under the Continental Free Trade has started. So how can we position ourselves to become a jewelry hub in the sub-region?
Well, number one, government has to support, or private sector. I was talking to the chairman who's going to chair the conference, Ehunabobrim Prajinsem, Nana Prajinsem, and he was telling me, my dear, look for private sector. Don't look at government. But you see, where policy is concerned, government has to be in there. Yeah. I agree with him entirely, because a private sector person will support you and ensure that whatever you're doing is profitable. So definitely, private sector will come in. But government has to be there as well, to ensure that the policy is being adhered to, that the policy is properly implemented, to support the sector. So it's going to be a collaboration of all sides, definitely. And the other thing is that the jewelers require a lot of training, which we are doing now with, we have partnered with the Wager Resource Center, Business Resource Center, to help train our jewelers. And they've been very magnanimous. They have already started helping us in certain ways, and we are going to move forward with that. Because, you know, now digital marketing is so important. Digital economy is so important. They've got to learn all these things. We have some very old goldsmiths, but they have children who we can train. We have very young ones too, who have been to university, some to training colleges and so on, that we can train. You know, and the president of the association will tell you what the government is doing now with COVID, trying to bring the jewelry industry, or, you know, jewelry making more into the education, you know, setup. They're trying to do that more. At the moment, I think the only school, JSHS, which offers jewelry making is Labone. There may be others, but they've done this for years, and they are known for being the one school that actually offers jewelry making. And one of our young jewelers, Nyodwe, you know, is a graduate from Labone. And once he graduated, he went on his own, and he does wonders, you know, which means that the Ghanaian, when properly trained, can do anything, especially where fabrication is concerned. There's so much we can do. So this is where we are.
Right. So as far as the Continental Free Trade is concerned, how do you think that industry players, jewelry makers in the country can position themselves to ensure that they are able to harness the benefits of the Continental Free Trade? So now, once we produce jewelry, once all the policies have been put in place and all the necessary training, we know the standards and all of that, we can produce jewelry and not only sell in the country, but sell in South Africa, in Nigeria, and all of that. So the jewelers themselves, what are some of the things that you think they should know in order to harness the benefits of the Continental Free Trade?
Well, they have to adopt, you know, international trade practices. They have to ensure that, you know, they're actually sourcing their gold from the right sources. They have to ensure that they have the right tools, and that they are prepared to meet the demands of the international world. Because what we are promoting now is handcrafted jewelry. The Italis and the what have yous have all these machine things. We cannot compete with them. But when it comes to handcrafting, they cannot compete with us. Because if you buy any jewelry or even a watch made through handcrafting, you pay an arm and a leg. And that is what we want us to be recognized for. That when they come to buy our jewelry, they shouldn't complain that it's expensive. Because a machine can do hundreds and thousands of one piece in seconds. But when you're sitting down behind your bench and working with your hands, that particular piece that you take, you can be sure that you are the only one who has it. It can be, you know, modified a little for somebody, but you can say that this one that I have, made specially for me. So if somebody wants to go and order the same thing, they can with a bit of, you know, a tweak here and there, but they cannot have what I have. And that is a standard that we need to promote. We need to promote. What we are waiting for is to see the wives of our various heads of states and the various vice presidents and so on to start promoting made in Ghana jewelry. But at the moment, everybody's trooping to Dubai or Italy or France. It is wrong. We have everything here. So we are waiting for them. As far as we are ready for them. If they come, we shall serve them. We shall be too happy to welcome them and serve them. Yes.
So that's why programs like the Gold Statements Project is important
for
promotion and all.
Absolutely.
But we can't talk about gold in Ghana without talking about the social canker that is raiding our minerals industry, and especially gold, galamsey. So how far, or what's the level of damage that this practice has caused the sector?
Galamsey has cost the whole country a lot. And unfortunately, the gold that came out of it didn't benefit us. They were not paying taxes. They were doing a lot of smuggling. I mean, the president thought, you remember he made the statement that we had exported 2 million kilograms or so, ounces to Dubai. For them to actually tell us that it was 5 million. So the difference of 3 million, where did that come from? Smuggling. And so if you listen to the news last week, they've put together an anti-smuggling, gold smuggling committee to check that. Now also, the community mining concept is for us to have a better relationship with small-scale miners. And how do we do this? We provide them with the mining area concession, provide them with the mercury-free processing machine. We give them technical support and advice. We have time for training. You know, we tell them at this stage, all of you are going to go to training and come back, etc. We keep close to them and we track what they do. It's the only way. And luckily, that is what the president and the sector minister are doing with the help of Minerals Commission, very much so, in there. We started it and we have, Minerals Commission started it and we have the support of the new minister, pushing it forward. We brought in the mercury-free processing machines on our own, that this is what we should do. And they agreed that, yes, it's a good thing, let's support it. So we have that groundswell and we are sure that it's going to get better and better. I can assure you that it will not take a few years, but within the next 4 or 5 years, the mining industry would be totally changed. And we shall all be proud of what this government started and what we shall achieve going into the future. Absolutely. I'm so positive. Yes, I'm so positive.
Okay, so now let's talk about the Gold Statement Project. Now, this year's conference will be the 5th conference or the 5th edition. For those who don't know what the Gold Statement Project is all about, tell us what the Gold Statement Project is about.
Well, the Gold Statement actually in 2001, the concept, when the president, John Agyekum Kufuor, started his presidential initiative on value addition. That's how the concept then came to me as a person working at that time with the Ghana Chamber of Mines. I had the opportunity to be introduced to the principal of the Jewelry College, College of Jewelry, and that is how the concept started. So we had a mini conference, I think 2004 or so at the trade fair. And in fact, our chairman-to-be for this conference was the chairman at that time, Nana Prajensen, very supportive. And at that time, we had the Minister of Trade, who was Konedu Aprepon, the Minister of Private Sector Development, who was Kwamna Bartels, the Minister of Mines, Kojo Dakun. They were all there. And I remember the chairman of the conference and also the president of the Chamber of Mines at that time, Kwabena Anaman. They were all there. And I remember the chairman of the conference challenging them that what we have started today, make sure that you help to move it on. Well, I mean, it did not happen. But for us, the Gold Statement team, we decided that we were going to move it forward, whether government was supportive or not. On the way, we met people like Mrs. Cecilia Bannerman, so supportive, We met people like the then CEO of Minerals Commission, Benai, who has been with us throughout what we've been doing since 2007. And the last board of the Minerals Commission was also very, very supportive, led by S.K. Boafo. He actually bought into it and helped the jewelers a lot, the association a lot. We expect that this new board will do the same. I'm also a member of this new board. We expect that they'll do the same. We need to sell the story to them, and I'm sure they would come on board. So what the conference will be about, the first day, 25th, would have, the delivery of papers. The guest of honor would open the conference. The chairman will be there. We'll all be there, would open the conference. Then the various stakeholders would deliver their papers. And then that would take most of the day. The second day, we are concentrating on training. We have the Wager Business Center coming to do training on digital marketing and other things that they're going to discuss with us. In fact, tomorrow we have a meeting with them. And then we have people from Geological Survey who are going to do training on the use of stones and polishing and so on, what we can do, because they've started a mini project which is very far advanced. We have PMMC also coming to the training to actually take some of the jewelers through actual lapidary work. So we have that for the second day. The third day, the sales exhibition is going to continue, and then in the evening we're going to have the big gala. The big gala would have the models modeling all the jewelry, not the jewelry for sales, but we are making special jewelry for show. So they'll model it, and for that evening, that night is a ticketed event for executive table, or how do you call it? It will be $250 for the normal table. Regular, it will be $150 per head. Yes. So that is what it's going to be, and we are so lucky that some of our sponsors have come through to support us for the adverts, for the payment for the Marriott, and so on. It's been wonderful. And those who have supported us, I'd like to thank them. I will mention them all at the conference, and they'll be on all the billboards, but I don't think I should start mentioning now.
Right. So over the years, what are some of the success stories that have come out from the conference?
I'm happy to state that the jewelers are more motivated, because there was a time when they thought nobody cared about them. So they were even leaving the industry to do other things, but they are so motivated now. We have taken them through many forms of training. They are even better than they were before. We now have our own office. The association, we have our own office that should be ready by the end of the month, opened and everything. So that we didn't have before. We were using the president's office as the association of, but now we have that. So there's a lot of progress. There's a lot of progress. And I think more and more sponsors are looking our way to help us achieve what we hope to achieve. And we want to achieve that not for any other purpose than to put Ghana on the map as a country that does not export its gold raw. We've done that for 100 years. It didn't help us. It's an embarrassment. From now on, what we should do is to ensure that all the gold that leaves the shores of this country, if not all, at least 50%, is turned into value-added products. I think that's the legacy our president wants to, Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo wants to leave. I think he wants to leave that legacy, and we should all of us, support him. Whatever we can do, whatever role we can play, we should play that role and support him. So that at the end of the day, whoever takes over, whether NPP or NDC, we shall not be shamed that for 100 years they're exporting raw gold and look at their country, like some backwater.
And I must say, talking about contribution and all of that, your contribution towards this agenda has been immense, regardless, as you were saying, regardless of government support or not. And you've done really well. I really commend you for that. So we are about wrapping up, but before we go, what are your final words?
Well, the most important thing for me is that Ghanaians should value what they have. Ghanaians should add value to all that they have, and Ghanaians should feel on top of the world, because we are lucky. God has placed us right in the center of the world. The gold in Ghana is better than everywhere else. The cocoa in Ghana is better than everywhere else. When they take 4 kilos of Côte d'Ivoire cocoa, they add half a kilo of Ghana cocoa, and that makes a premium. That is how blessed we are. But for some reason, we have an inferiority complex. I don't understand. And we need to move from there. We need to feel on top of the world and being there by grace, because whatever we have has been given to us by God. And if He didn't treasure us, He wouldn't give it to us. So we should appreciate what God has done for us and know that we are where we are by grace.
And that does it for our in-depth segment. News and events comes up after this break. Don't go away.
Here's innovation from GOIL that takes you further. New GOIL Super Synthetic 5W20 and 5W30 lubes have been expertly crafted with the latest in liquid engineering technology, highly advanced for modern engines, prolongs oil change intervals, save you fuel, clean, protect and enhance engine performance. The way engines work has become complex, and GOIL has innovated to stay ahead with expertly crafted lubricants that work excellently with all petrol and diesel engines of today. New GOIL Super Synthetic 5W20 and 5W30 lubes. Innovation that takes you further. GOIL. Good energy.
Ghana raked in $874.01 million worth of investment from 122 projects in the first quarter of 2021, according to data provided by the Ghana Investment Promotion Center, GIPC. Of the total investment of $874.01 million, the foreign direct investment FDI component amounted to $829.29 million, while the local component accounted for $44.72 million. The FDI amount of $829.29 million was a remarkable increase of 32.15% in inbound FDI compared to the FDI value of $627.52 million recorded in the same period last year. International trade figures spoke to the president of the Regent University College of Science and Technology, Professor Asamoah, on Ghana's FDI growth and how to sustain the positive growing trend.
Foreign direct investment is important, probably from principles of economics. When you look at what constitutes our GDP, we are talking about private investment, government investment, we are talking about our export, less import and all those things. So realize that that foreign aspect is in the GDP. So when you take it, when it is not there, when you get more of it, it will affect the total amount of goods and services that when you take it out. So it's very important. So realize that most countries, especially African countries, government after government chase, in quote, foreign direct investment because they are bringing in funds or money. Foreign direct investment can come in the form of technology. Foreign direct investment can come in the form of management expertise. So it's very important because all these things add on to the GDP of the country and contribute totally to the growth of the country. So it's very important in that aspect.
Professor Asamoah explained the benefits FDI offers to a growing economy like Ghana.
When you have more foreign direct investment coming in, one, it comes in the form of capital, it comes in the form of technology, it can come in the form of management expertise. So there are management expertise that you didn't have. It's coming in to be able to manage companies, institutions in the beneficial country, in this case Ghana. The technology you didn't have is coming in as a FDI. The capital you didn't have is coming in. When it comes in, it refers that that capital is establishing a company, establishing an institution, a manufacturing or whatever company, and it will employ people. So that unemployment rate, that 200, 300 people, I think the last statistics indicate that FDI in 2020 actually created 270-something thousand jobs per GIPC records. So that 270-something job that was created, we have been those people might either be underemployed or unemployed or something, but it has created that. So it will help too. These goods and services that will be produced, may be consumed. People will buy instead of importing. So it also comes in the form of import substitution. Okay. Taxes will be paid because of that FDI company that have been. So taxes will be paid. So it has so many effects, which it will increase the purchasing power of the people, probably farmers, if it is agro-processing company, farmers who produce raw materials will also their raw materials will be bought and processed here, adding value among the final product. There are some you export it, you earn foreign exchange. So it's diverse. So that's the more reason I said that African countries and Ghana are all clamoring for FDI because of all the benefits that I have indicated.
The president of the Regent University College of Science and Technology, Professor Asamoah, commended government for the efforts made so far to increase FDI through the introduction of business reforms and policies. He, however, entreated government to keep up business reforms in order to sustain the positive growing trend the country is witnessing in FDI inflows.
The government of Ghana, I think, have in various ways position the country as a destination for FDI. I say this for three reasons. I can give more, but for the purpose of this, I can give you three reasons. One is the wealth of resources that we have, naturally. So you can talk of mineral resources. There alone, you can go from gold, diamond, bauxite, on and on and on and on and on. Agriculture, fertile land, you can go on and on. So the resource is positioned as very well as a destination for FDI. Of course, we've had relatively, I say relatively compared to political stability, which money cannot buy. So that alone, an investor chooses as to where to go, where to have peace, and where to pack his or her baggage the next 3-4 years. It positions us very well. In addition to that, government has brought in some business reforms. When you look at the ease of doing business, now they scrape it. But you realize that there have been reforms. For example, registration of businesses, the number of days it takes, they digitize most of the issues now. So back to your question, what government can do is to continue with the reforms. The import duties, especially on raw materials that are to be used to produce here, the tax element has to be looked at so that it makes it easier, because we cannot have all the raw materials here. So obviously you have to import some raw materials. So what is the tax element that has to be looked at? The other one has to do with the processes. And I think that digitization and all those things have to be speed up so that it doesn't take forever when to get your goods to your factory, among others.
Are you an importer or exporter? Do you need quick financing at the best rate on the market? ADB has good news for you. Walk into any agricultural development bank location nationwide for that solution to all your trade financing needs. ADB offers you pre-financing of exports and imports, post-shipment credit facilities, bank guarantees, the issuance and acceptance of letters of credit, documentary bills for collection, outward documentary collection. Enjoy free advisory services from our well-trained dedicated trade officers. Exporters of agricultural products are encouraged to take advantage of this great service. For further enquiries, call us on 0302 210 210. ADB, making trade finance easy. ADB, truly agric and more.
And it's a wrap for today's edition of International Trade Focus. Join us same time next week for some more on international trade-related activities here in Ghana and beyond. International Trade Focus is brought to you by Gore Good Energy, ADB, Truly Agric and more, Public Elegance and Pediasa Valley Resort. My name is Anna Spio. Bye-bye for now. Join us same time next week.